Look closer. Can you see it? This isn't just a piece of old paper. It's a key, a gateway to adventure. Spread out before me is a map, not of highways and cities but of whispers and legends, crisscrossed with dotted lines, cryptic symbols and handwritten notes, notes that speak of fortunes lost and mysteries unsolved. Each mark is a story, a puzzle that has captivated generations. From the rugged mountains of the West to the murky depths of the Atlantic, America is a treasure chest waiting to be opened. This map doesn't just show locations, it charts a course through history, ambition, and the spirit of discovery. Are you ready to follow it? Our journey begins with a collection of destinations. Imagine a giant X over the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, where a fortune in gold, silver, and jewels is said to be buried. Its location locked in unbreakable codes. Picture another X off the coast of Florida, Spanish galleons entangled in coral. Our first X on the map lands us in Bedford County, Virginia. The air here is thick with history and humidity, but we're not here for the scenery. We're here for a story that begins in the 1820s with a man named Thomas J. Beale. As the legend goes, Beale and a group of adventurers discovered a massive hoard of gold and silver while prospecting out west. To protect their fortune, they transported it back to Virginia and buried it in a secret location. Beale then created 3 coded messages, or ciphers, detailing the treasure's location, its contents, the names of the men who were its rightful heirs. He left this puzzle in the hands of a local innkeeper, and then vanished, never to be seen again. Of the 3 ciphers, only one has ever been solved. The second cipher, which describes the contents of the treasure, was cracked, using the Declaration of Independence as a key. The solution revealed a staggering inventory, thousands of pounds of gold, thousands of pounds of silver plus jewels. Can you imagine? The value today would be in the tens of millions of dollars. But here's the catch. The other 2 ciphers remain stubbornly unbroken. Cipher number 1, which holds the key to the exact location, has resisted every attempt at decryption. It's a tantalizingly incomplete puzzle. We know what's buried. From a 19th century mystery, we fast forward to a modern one. Our next stop takes us into the vast, rugged wilderness of the Rocky Mountains. This legend was born from the mind of one man, an eccentric art dealer and a former Air Force pilot named Forrest Fenn. In 2010, Fenn announced that he had hidden a bronze chest filled with gold nuggets, rare coins, jewelry, and precious artifacts somewhere in the mountains north of Santa Fe. He then published a cryptic 24-line poem in his memoir, The Thrill of the Chase, which he claimed contained 9 clues that, if followed precisely, would lead a searcher to the treasure. He created a real-life treasure hunt for the masses. The response was immediate and immense. Hundreds of thousands of people from all walks of life became obsessed with solving Fenn's riddle. They quit their jobs, sold their homes, and dedicated their lives to combing the wilderness. The search focused on New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. The poem's clues were beautifully vague. Now we head south, deep into the blistering heat of the Arizona desert. Our map leads us to the jagged, imposing peaks of the Superstition Mountains. This is a place where legends are baked into the very rock. We're here on the trail of one of the most famous and deadliest treasures in American history, the Lost Dutchman's gold mine. The story centers on a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman. In the late 1800s, Waltz supposedly stumbled upon a mine of unimaginable wealth, a source of pure, high-grade gold hidden somewhere within these treacherous mountains. Waltz guarded his secret jealously. He would occasionally appear in Phoenix with saddlebags full of rich gold ore, but he never revealed the mine's location. On his deathbed in 1891, he described the mine's location to a neighbor, Julia Thomas. He drew a crude map and gave cryptic clues involving a prominent peak and the setting sun. Julia and her partner searched for years based on his clues but found nothing. And so, the mystery was born. Was Waltz telling the truth, or was he spinning one last tall tale from his deathbed? No one knows for sure. The search for the Dutchman's mine is a dangerous undertaking. The Superstition Mountains are a labyrinth of canyons, cliffs, and cacti. Summer temperatures can be lethal and winter nights are freezing. Okay, let's trade the dry desert heat for the warm, salty air of the Florida coast. Our map is now marked with the unmistakable symbol of a shipwreck. For centuries, this coastline was a critical highway for the Spanish Empire. Twice a year, heavily armed fleets of galleons would sail from the New World to Spain. Their hulls groaned under the weight of gold, silver, emeralds, and priceless artifacts. This was the Spanish treasure fleet, the richest maritime convoy in history. The Florida Straits are also known as Hurricane Alley, and this treacherous stretch became the final resting place for countless ships. One famous disaster happened in 1715. A fleet of 12 ships laden with staggering treasure was caught in a monster hurricane off what is now Vero Beach. The storm was merciless. 11 of the 12 ships were smashed on the reefs, scattering cargo across miles of seabed. For our next stop we have to, well, bend the rules a little and hop just over the border to Nova Scotia, Canada. While it's not technically in the United States, this legend is so intertwined with American treasure hunting history that it's honestly impossible to ignore. I'm talking about Oak Island. The mystery here doesn't involve a single shipwreck or a lost mine, but something far more bizarre. A man-made shaft of unknown origin and purpose. It's popularly known as the Money Pit. The story began way back in 1795 when a teenager named Daniel McGinnis noticed a circular depression in the ground and evidence of an old block and tackle in a tree above it. Convinced it marked buried pirate treasure, he and his friends started digging. What they found has honestly baffled searchers for over 2 centuries. Just a few feet down they hit a layer of flagstones. 10 feet deeper they found a platform of oak logs. They kept digging and discovered another log platform every 10 feet. At 90 feet they uncovered a stone tablet inscribed with strange symbols. The tablet was later translated to read, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. But when they returned to dig further, the pit had flooded with seawater. Turns out the original builders had engineered a devious booby trap, underground flood tunnels linked to the ocean. Ever since, the quest has become a multi-generational obsession. Syndicate after syndicate poured millions into the search using increasingly complex technology. Old coins, fragments of parchment. Gone are the days when treasure hunting was just about a crinkled map and a rusty shovel. While the spirit of adventure is still very much alive, the tools of the trade have undergone a radical transformation. These days, the modern treasure hunter is part historian, part detective, part tech geek. The hunt often begins not out in the field, but in the archives. Researchers spend countless hours poring over old ship manifests, survivor accounts, court records, diaries, geological surveys. They're looking for that one overlooked detail, that one forgotten name or location that could unlock a centuries-old mystery. The library can be just as important as the landscape. Once in the field, technology really takes over. On land, metal detectors are the classic tool. Modern versions are incredibly sophisticated, able to distinguish between different types of metal and detect objects buried several feet deep. For larger areas, hunters use ground-penetrating radar, which sends radio waves into the earth to create a picture of what lies beneath. Without ever breaking ground, drones equipped with high-resolution cameras or LiDAR can map vast, inaccessible terrains, revealing forgotten structures and old roads. Every treasure hunter will tell you the same thing: this life is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's a roller coaster of soaring hope, crushing disappointment. For every moment of discovery, there are thousands of hours of fruitless searching. You can spend months, even years, chasing a lead that in the end turns out to be a dead end. You might dig 100 holes only to find nothing but dirt and rocks. You could invest your life savings into an expedition that yields only a handful of rusty nails. This is, honestly, the reality of the hunt. It requires a level of persistence and optimism that borders on obsession. The stories of failure are, frankly, far more common than the stories of success. Consider the countless Dutch hunters in the Superstition Mountains heatstroke rattlesnakes. Think about the thousands who searched for Forest Fenn's treasure while someone else claimed the prize. Mel Fisher and the Nuestra Senora de Atocha. 16 years of searching, today's the day. They had found the mother lode, about $450 million. We've journeyed across the country and through the centuries, coded messages in Virginia, sunken galleons in Florida, a cursed mine in Arizona, a modern-day riddle in the Rockies. We've seen how legends are born from a kernel of truth and how the human spirit of adventure keeps them alive. These stories are more than just tales of gold and jewels. They are monuments to ambition, mystery, and the relentless pursuit of the unknown. They remind us that our world is still full of secrets, puzzles waiting to be solved, and discoveries waiting to be made. The map is now back in your hands. Beale, Fenn, the Dutchman, the 1715 fleet, are just the beginning. Every state has its own mysteries whispered in small towns and recorded in dusty library books. Jean Lafitte, Bayous of Louisiana. You don't need a multi-million-dollar expedition to start your own adventure.